completed. So Marley was just living off the first half. He was getting like 100, not 100, but about 20 or so remixes. First half, didn't even care about the second half because he did LL. And he was going to, and they had plenty of records for the next one because they didn't even do new records for 14 Shots. Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag was done on the other one because LL came to live upstate with him and they did records like for a year together. All right, so Marley's just like, y'all just do all of that. Some of them shits made it, like I did Class Act. I remember he was going to do Class Act. Some of that shit came in Class Act. He heard Kid and Play and said, fuck that shit. Got up and said, I ain't doing that crap. I know y'all like Kid and Play for the movies, but they never had any records. None of those records ever were hits. None. They had one last night, their first song, and nothing else was hits. Their music videos were so out of control and funny and entertaining and cutting edge for their time that it parlayed them in the movies, but they never had the records, and they never was really great rappers. This shit was all offbeat. So Marley just got me and said, y'all want to do it? I said, I'm going to fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? That shit going in the movie. And you can hear my sounds in the Class Act one of them ones, in the middle of the movie, they start rapping for some reason. And that's the song. But we did In Control Part 2. I haven't, y'all gonna laugh at that. If you listen to, look up Marley Marl In Control Part 2. Look for a group called Pure Cane Sugar. That was us. We did a song called Sweet Tooth. I produced it with Marley and my boy Prince Rap. Funny as fuck. 80s. But it was on In Control 2. Marley put me on in a lot of places. And In Control 2 was done. We ran into Marley, and Marley said, yo, call Fran from Def Jam. I'm gonna get a song on there. Fran was like, what's he doing? The album's done. Just look out. Marley got me jobs, gave me jobs, and looked out. Niggas complain about Marley. I have no complaints about that nigga. That nigga kept my shit going. Got me on with freaking Frack, you know what I'm saying? Like was put me on to the Lords. I just turned it down, you know what I'm saying? So now, okay. Ladies love James L. Like Cool James. All right, so now, Monica, when they sent these remix tapes, to make the tape line up with like the drum machine, you would MIDI it up. And that's how this drum machine could speak to this. MIDI is how music machines interface. That's what it means. Meta something digital interface. Music interface, digital interface. MIDI, M-I-D-I. I think it's music interface, digital interface. So these MIDI chords, I don't think I have one around. There's and I know you can't see it. Well, a little bit. These are actually MIDI plugs. It says MIDI in. And you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 MIDI plugs. Because MIDI is important. Because if I needed to talk to this, that, or that, and all this equipment, you MIDI it up. Now USB does that. Like, I couldn't fucking hook my keyboard up for the longest. They said, just plug it in, because I'm looking for the MIDI control. I said, oh fuck, the USB is MIDI. Remember, I had to learn all this shit again. USB is the new MIDI. All right, so they have to send something called the offset time. Usually they try to make a standard of 20 seconds. So if I set the offset time on my tape machine for the 2-inch for 20, usually all the machines will lock up. Nobody sends the offset time. Nigga shit. So you find a long time trying to put in offset times, trying to get the machines to trigger right. And see, the crazy shit is you can put it in, the machines will sound right, but they'll slowly go off. They'll slowly come out of phase. You'll start hearing the snare come out of phase. If I have the offset time, you usually call it what's the offset time, Why the engineer didn't write it down? Call what studio? You calling people from California, you know what I'm saying, to try to figure shit out, and it's a headache. Marley was such a genius. Instead of finding an offset time, he would take the 2-inch tape where he'd be sitting like this, and he'll blend that shit like a DJ and be mixing that shit to the beat, catching it. I'll be like, yo, this, and then let me go. He's like, we leave it here. Word is born. No, we don't even look at offset time. Fucking genius. So when we did that, Hank Shockey was testing to see if I was ill. Couldn't find the offset time, ABC, another bad creation. And I said, hold on, let me show you some shit. Boom. That nigga said, I seen his eyes light up. I said, I got him. Sure enough, I never even asked. Y'all play some of your shit for Chuck D. All I wanted to do, see, I didn't know about consciousness, but that's why I was leaning towards it. Chuck was supposed to pick one song, he picked 4, and then that story was it. Then after that, I was like, I ain't got shit to do no more. I didn't know what to do, I quit. Then I started working at record labels with my sister was doing that. And then I went into IT. All right, let's keep going. We talked about music enough. And I guess the point is, when and I couldn't get the music out of my head because of my mother. And that's how it is with sampling. You'll hear something and you know you'll start hearing what you can make. You better have a place that won't leave your head. It torments you. So when you get a studio, you get it all out your head. So when I couldn't get it out my head after Public Enemy, but I didn't have any business zeal, no inspiration. So when I started studying consciousness more, that's what got it out of my head. So when I was about to move to Atlanta with Khadijah, all my equipment was in the closet. And I said, I'm throwing this shit in the garbage. I don't even want to bring it to this new world. And didn't. Threw it away. Shit, SP1200, for those who know, shit still costs $4,000 if you could get one. Threw it away. Threw it right in the dumpster. So I was done with it. So my mother, who seen me and seen this was the only thing that floated my boat, knew that the creative process of standing in front. See, I didn't realize till later why I'm conscious, why I could talk like this, why I could study like this, is because I stood in front of the drum machine. When you exercise that creativity, watch Pete Rock's page, watch Snoop Dogg's page on Instagram, watch the funny humor they put up, watch the way they look at things. B.O.B., all the true creative niggas, you are actually cultivating your genetics and your DNA by creating something. You must find something to be creative in. So I was tortured, and it was torturing me when I was trying to get money from it. Now that I don't have to make my money this way where I can sit down, it's the most wonderful thing I've ever done, got back into music, and I attribute that to B.O.B. You understand? That is my brother. One of his missions was to get me back sitting here. That's why he see my mother, who was pushing for this, and said something about her. And in fact, this is the first time he was at my house. He said, "Some tell me that I should pour a libation right in this area." And that's exactly where my mother's urn was. So, and then I realized that's why I like him. He reminds me of my mother before she got sick. The energy, the mild-mannered energy, you know what I'm saying? It's like incredibly so much, and it blew my mind. It took me a few years to figure that one out. It blew my mind. I said, oh, she's working through him to get me here. Put the picture up here, studio. Every time I come in here, I kiss her, greet her, and make a hot joint in her name. And my man ODB right here, too. He sits in front of me. He's not a game. Look at him, Old Dirty. I got Michael Jackson, Left Eye. I got Aunt Esther, which is LaWanda Page, Nina Simone. I got Khadijah dressed up in Egyptian shit from, you know, when you go to Universal, you could get your face imposed. I got her on the Mummy with the goddess shit. It's hard. Baphomet Clock, Spider-Man, Beetlejuice. Courtney gave me the ODB, and she gave me a Beetlejuice picture. Note, there's a new Beetlejuice movie coming out. How you like those fucking apples, guys? I got Sassamet, Red Fox. Somebody in a lecture gave me their artwork. I wish I could remember their name. Maybe I'll look and maybe I could make out their signature. A Bobby Hemmett dressed as Buddha. Somebody also gave me some psychedelic shit. Then Khadijah got drunk on wine and painted some weird picture. This here, Superman. And then a sister who I haven't heard from, who I would like to hear from, named April, who painted me a pan picture. She probably thinks I disregarded it, but she wrote pandemonium. It's a nice picture. It's there. Richard Pryor, Baphomet, dudes. Mr. T. We got it all going on, people. All going on. That's the energy around. That's the energy. You know what I'm saying? Energy. Some Star Trek, some Darth Vader up here. You know what I'm saying? I got Osiris and Pan, Cthulhu, Orunmila, who's the diviner. So, you know, and I'm saying this because that's how you want to make your thing, because these things become symbols that talk directly to your subconscious. So I know what Cthulhu is. I can tell you the whole story, but what the symbol does is it encompasses the whole story into one object. So just by looking at the object, the story is actually being drilled into your reality. You know what I'm saying? We see questions. You know, you did all them exclamation points. Since everything is flip-flop, the South is North, the East is West, is it safe to assume these compasses are not correct? I don't get into physical things, but if you look true north, so look at Eric Dubay and what he talks about, the flat earth and true north. That's where you'll find that. Eric Dubay was the guy who reintroduced, because it's never really went away. Dr. Phil Valentine said the earth is flat and nobody cared at the time. But he brought it back, and that's when it became the universal phenomenon, and he's still going at it. Eric Dubay. Get his books and get what he says on the true north. And, you know, where the Aurora Borealis is, I already broke that down. As Osiris being the green man, I don't even feel like getting him. I have a green Osiris, and he truly should be. And mind you, Osiris was also a feminine, that solstice, or the solstice boat, or Isis is the feminine, is the same thing. The green man, where the Aurora Borealis is actually the gateway, I talked about all of that and how to die and not come back. That is the north. You know what I'm saying? That shit about the hole in the earth, it may be true, but that's not the way to Shangri-La. You still have a physical existence. Even if you somehow get there and they show you how to live for 4,000 years, you're still down there for 4,000 years. You're a cosmic entity. All right, they getting Jamie Foxx back for what he did in the Django. I don't know. That's a good one. They got us back. I broke this down in my book, guys. In the second book, I broke down a whole section of this shit. I said once they did Django, which was a dream for niggas, you know what I'm saying? It gave them the right of way to open up all of these slave movies. The Butler, 12 Years a Slave came out. They did another Roots, the Underground Railroad. And I had to research, and it was like 5 or 6 more about shit that you read. A whole slew of slave movies came out that brought you back to Jay. So they got that back. Jamie Foxx is their bitch. She ain't no rebel. That nigga's Lawanda, whatever the fuck he was. And he still would do it. He still stands behind it. He's their bitch. Know what I'm saying? No, what they're really saying at the end of the day, he took one of the vaccine shots for the movie. Forget all of what they're saying with Puffy and his gay life. So many people outed Puffy and nothing happened to him. Like, what they're saying, like, they just Jamie Foxx talked about a story. He had a party and he had a camera, but he ain't saying nothing about what Puffy's doing. At least that's not what the scuttlebutt is. Because I watched the gossip too, just for the fun on YouTube. But what they said is he actually has a blood clot in his head. I'm sure Puffy ain't do that. He ain't that good. Take that, boink. And he ain't that dude. What Jamie Foxx, they said that he was on a movie and everyone had to get a vaccine. He was pressured, he didn't want to do it. He did the COVID and got a blood clot. So, you know, they play that down because of the vaccine. Who the fuck knows? And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really give a fuck. Fuck that dude. These niggas ain't your friends. These niggas they never was helping you. These niggas will do anything. That nigga put on a dress today and he's considered a big star. He did. When he was already, after he did Ray and all that shit, they did a skit somewhere where he dressed up as that old shit from Living Color, and Martin dressed up as Shanae, came out of retirement, and maybe there was one more other, but they did a little skit somewhere for, you know, a throwback joke. So they'll still put it on. You said, fuck them niggas. I don't know, you know, I don't really worried about that. You know what I'm saying? Too tough. Tam about they cloned Tyrone. He got a movie, Talon, about they called, man, okay. Just because you put CJ, just because you putting up these exclamation points and my eyes going there. Don't worry, this is your last one, nigga. How do you deal with teaching people on different levels, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? Some people seem unteachable. I just said a whole thing about non-playable characters. Those are the unteachable. I teach to my experience, my study in scholarship, my research, and give you where I got it from and urge you to learn it yourself. I can't teach you wisdom, bro. I can't teach you understanding. I can tell you I could point you to knowledge and hope you gain wisdom and manifest through your understanding. But the ball is in your court. You understand what I'm saying? And I've been saying that all day. Can you speak on automatic writing and seeing spirits? And automatic writing is your subconscious mind. It's an act of your subconscious mind. Anything you doing when you're not thinking. When you're thinking, you're in your conscious mind. You can just scribble or try to draw without looking, and you're actually more reliant on the subconscious mind. When you're thinking and put your attention to it, it's no longer subconscious. There's plenty of subconscious communication. Automatic writing is just one of that. It's just a technique of trying to get a question answered out the subconscious mind. Kinesiology is that. Subliminal, reading subliminal fate. That movie Lie to Me that I talked to you about. When I talked about Muhammad Ali's face, micro faces, so behavioral analysis, body postures, facial analysis, all of that is equivalent to automatic writing because it's the subconscious communication. Automatic writing is just a deliberate act, just like remote seeing is the deliberate act of using the subconscious mind, knowing how to shut down the conscious. So what is shutting down the conscious? That's what you're doing when you're meditating. You're trying to shut down the conscious, but your conscious doesn't want to get resistance. That's why you get a lot of chatter, or you keep coming out, or you just go into thinking. But what you're really supposed to be doing is learning how to shut down the conscious to let the subconscious communicate. You do that every night when you dream. Seeing spirits physically, not many people want to see them. I have, but it's usually when I'm in the sleep mode or zoned out. I see spirits. There was one time I stayed up like 3 days. I just seen niggas standing right there. Because again, my conscious mind is overbearing. It can't do it. So my subconscious mind is showing me the world of real. Same thing when you're waking up in sleep paralysis. People say they see spirits as well as feel the pressure because spirits are all around you. Energy is all around you. And all of this, even around you in the physical world, is energy. You understand what I'm saying? It's just moving at a slower pace in its atomic form. So it's not really hard. That's by doing the spiritual work, you just start to work on the subconscious and strengthen it. If you listen to a lot of the shit I was saying, you can get to these places. Unteachable, what do you call them? Unteachable NPCs, unteachable resonance so deeply. Yeah, They're unteachable, but understand they're just empty vessels. Bobby Hemmett used to say, you can't try to save everybody. Know how that was dealt with. Never throw pearls to swine. Let the dead lie with the dead. We call them the dead people. You're alive because you're conscious. They're dead. The dead people are NPCs, non-playable characters, non-teachable characters. You understand what I'm saying? And they're not supposed to be, because the energy or the light isn't in them. But still, they're conscious to a level where they feel pain, they feel emotions, they feel everything that you feel. It's just, but they feel it for dumber reasons, and they can't get out of this because what's in them that would transform them is not happening. See, if you met me and you see me at Red Robin, I would look like every human. You wouldn't think I've studied as much as I studied. So genetically, there's a physical genetic thing, and then there's a cosmic aspect to your DNA and your genetics. That's when I'm changing. Spiritually, I am not the same entity. I look back at the stuff, it's like I'm reading somebody else's memories, because I'm not the same entity genetically on a spiritual level. Physically, shit, I'm worse. Back is hurting, tired of walking. You know, I eat this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I drink and eat this bullshit. So you got to understand concepts. You just got to study the basic concepts before you even know what you're going for. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. The good and the evil is conscious and versus subconscious. People create good and evil, and two, because it's just under control. No, good and evil is duality here, and that's really not real. That's an interpretation. One of the things I used to teach in class, like if you walked up on me and I was an evil, good and evil is a concept of the conscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't know what's good or evil. That's why you do dumb shit that you were programmed with, because your subconscious mind is not saying, I'm doing dumb shit. It's just saying, that's how I get down. What you say, motherfucker? And you like, nigga. Like, for instance, because I was programmed in New York, and in New York, people say they're not courteous. These New Yorkers are mean. They don't speak to you or whatever. Because in New York, if you speak to me, that's disrespectful. Because in New York, it's a standard. Anyone who speaks to you are going to beg you for something, or perhaps the statistics say do something sinister. So out of respect, niggas walk in with a straight face saying, that's another way of saying you're safe, because I'm not going to try to scare you with an interaction or eye contact that may make you feel uncomfortable, because there's so much crime. This is the densest city in the world. So by me walking straight, not saying nothing, is respect in New York. See, people don't understand. I didn't even understand that until I moved out here. See, now it didn't work out here because I'm subconsciously programmed to that. So I'm doing the same thing out here. Everyone makes eye contact and say, how you doing, brother? They'll just say, you gotta greet out this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Hemmett did a lecture and he was saying white people didn't understand why like black people could be in the office and they could walk past your desk and say hi 5 times. And that's normal. You say hi once and they're done for the day. That's how we are. And that's how we are out here in New York, and I like that. And then by the time I went to California, they were doing the same thing because of all the shit that goes down in Long Beach, I guess, in Compton. I came out the store, I was hurt. I said, now I know what other people feel about New Yorkers. But then after I put more thought to it, I said, no. If I was in New York and going, hi, niggas would go, yo, watch that nigga. Because that's not socially correct. So you're programmed with these things. And though we can see how I determine in the South it's evil, but in up North is good, it's your interpretation. One of the things I used to say in class, if you walked upon me, I was beating up an old lady, that's evil. But if you walked upon me, I'm beating up an old lady, and I said, she just killed my family, that's justice. So what does that tell you when you do the wisdom on that knowledge? Good and evil is a perception. There is no good and evil. There's only balance. is what the Egyptians said, Maya. They didn't deal with good and evil. They dealt with balance. Because now, even if you move further, I started to realize beyond starting to say hello to people and make eye contact, still the angry New Yorker when they went too far. What's the weather? Are you going to have a cookout today? Because they see me buying a bunch of shit for the grill. Like, what your fucking business? I started to be like, that is New York shit too. I started to have to learn that me being courtesy created balance, because me not being courteous was actually not good or evil. It can be determined like on the outside is good and evil on the conscious, but what was really happening, I was creating imbalances. I was going dirty looks, and I'm supposed to be somebody who's not fucking with humanity. So when I noticed, hey, how you doing? You gonna cook out? I sure am, buddy. There's no imbalance. People walk away feeling comfortable, untriggered, smiling, and not even seeing you no more than that moment. Therefore, I actually was, by being courteous, less interactive with humanity, because there was no energy coming my way, because I was like, nigga, yeah, I'm cooking out. Or just that frown face. Just smile. It doesn't hurt. And I started to feel actually better because no one is sending that human energy my way. So like I said, it's a study you got to find yourself. Southern hospitality doesn't exist. It's just a sudden, just like New York, just like I just said, it's not New York aggression that is not speaking to you. It's our social being that's not speaking to you. So it's not evil. So it can't be Southern hospitality and lack of hospitality in New York, because New York niggas will feed you, clothe you, because when it comes to hard, that's what people say. When the crisis came, though, all the New Yorkers, I seen people fall out on the street and a crowd of niggas will take shirts off their back. In fact, my sister told me she was a biker got hit by a car the other day, and not the other day, this is months ago now. She took off her shirt, stretched with blood, and held it on them and called, someone help. They do all, I've seen that a gazillion times. So what is that? New York hospitality, that's what people do. But the New York social status. So socially, because I haven't seen that much, I've seen a little hospitality, but everyone acts a certain way. So we can say hospitality and Southern hospitality, but if I really was decoding it, it's just the social way. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm seeing now, as Atlantic is busier, it looks more New Yorky, more crime, less talking, and less hospitality. Because when I first got here, there was a snowstorm. People got stuck on. It was about this much snow. You couldn't even really go outside and make one good snowball. But they was all fucked up. People was getting stuck. Random people, they was taking them off the highway. Come stay at your house? Yeah. See, there's guest rooms out here. You can't do that shit in New York. And niggas be sleeping together. So what do you do for a living? What's your name again? You be in the same bed with the motherfucker. Out here, it's a different thing. So Southern hospitality, again, we got to put it in context. That's a description of a social behavior, and I just broke it down. You understand what I'm saying? And so the description of a New Yorker, they hard, they don't do this, but it's because in the environment, that's actually how you survive. You couldn't survive being hospitable, you'll get taken advantage of. How do you heal from childhood trauma? You need to take my class and Khadijah's classes. That's what we teach. You ain't gonna get that in. You ain't gonna get that right now. It's too much. That's detailed, nigga. It's your childhood trauma. So you got to hear me talk about that. You've heard me talk about that for years. I wrote about it in my book. It's a thing. So see, we got to stop looking for microwave shit, because that's really a microwave question. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I become a millionaire on a fucking live blog talk show? You know what I'm saying? No, it's chakra work. Khadijah deals with it in detail. I dealt with it in detail in my first class, and I dealt with it in detail in my book explaining it. So it's a study, and I realize how necessary it is. But you start understanding your chakras. So if you need a microwave answer, that without going into details, start understanding what chakra works is. My first book is a detailed mapping of chakras, and you don't need that. You can find chakra work free online. With the root, the 7 major chakras are root, sacral, solar, heart, throat, pineal, crown. You know what I'm saying? And see what they are, what they mean, what they are balanced, what they are overactive and underactive. Judge it against your feelings and start dealing at the root of it. Being honest, dealing. You're gonna have to deal with your moms, your pops if he was there, or if he wasn't there, what that means to you. All that crap to say, you got work ahead of you. It's not gonna be easy. What time is it? I'm getting the fuck up out of here. We're here for 4 hours. I'm going to fucking make me. What time is it? It's about 10. I'm going to make me some eat before it gets way too late. We'll take one last question so somebody make it good. The new Spider-Man with the multiverse, yeah, it was all right. But, they just doing, DC started really killing the multiverse on TV. So they used Spider-Man for the multiverse. Oh, no, with the little black kid. I haven't seen that one yet. But I'm going to check it out because they did that one. First of all, Stan Lee, they were deifying him with the first one. He dies, then the multivitamin the multiverse comes out right at his death. And understand, with all the characters that he either worked with or developed at Marvel, everyone kind of knew. I don't know if he just said it, but everyone kind of knew that Spider-Man was him, that Peter Parker was him. And so they made him a little black kid. Remember I said for white people, their next step in alchemy is becoming a black kid or a black person. So that's a genetical, because all the superheroes is us. I mean, they are telling you so many times, y'all niggas want to be non-playable characters so bad. Y'all not listening. You so much think they're opposition, you don't get that they're trying to be you. You so much think that they're opposition, you don't get why they celebrate Eminem. You're so busy. He ain't the best. Why are they saying anybody? And the white rapping, the white da-da-da. Because you're not getting, they saying it because they need finally for someone who could rap to get it in their morphic field grid. So, and then after he started rapping, all these other white people started coming up and at least being able to stay on beat. They all sucked, and Eminem could suck a ass crack sideways. He sucked. That nigga sound like a fucking metrodome. You know what I'm saying? Corny ass nigga, and motherfuckers is writing that for him. All that crazy shit about his goddamn mama. You know what I'm saying? The weirdo. You know what I'm saying? But for white people, they couldn't rap on beat. I seen the niggas on Saturday Night Live in the Cypher, the actors on Saturday Night Live, and they was murdering it. So why? Because they need to become and find out what you are. So don't think of them as opposition. Think of them as trying to catch up. So that multiverse, I definitely gonna check it out. I loosely checked out the first one because I already knew it was about when Stan Lee died. Said the first Marvel thing they do, and of course it was a Spider-Man entering the multiverse. They're telling you what they're trying to do. And then of course, like I said, Marvel is stomping on DC's neck. So they can't even become competition. DC always had television. Batman was on TV first, Superman was on TV first, and Marvel was actually struggling on TV. They had a Captain America show on TV. They had the Hulk on TV. It took me in the 70s. Then DC did something that looked so terrible. I seen it on YouTube where it was like a special show where they did the League of Justice, Solomon Grundy. And this is in the 80s, so it was real bad. I seen it, it was terrible. No special effects that mean anything. Spider-Man made it to TV a lot from Marvel, but in cartoon form. And then there was a show that did a little bit okay. DC though, with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman on TV, those were the shows. But in movies, Superman hit movies and Batman hit movies. That's why it became Batman versus Superman. And then they tried to do Wonder Woman. That was the third one that was strong on TV. They couldn't make it. Flash looks okay, but you see with Flash, they're gonna have Superman, Batman, and they went to get a multiverse Batman, because Flash on television is a long-running series. Remember Smallville, Lois and Clark? They killed TV. You know what I'm saying? Lois and Clark, Superman in the 50s, Superman and those don't need to fear Superman and shit. All that shit, they killed TV. Lois and Flash, with his speed, started dealing with the multiverse, then the League, something League, that's DC, and then that's why they jumped into Doctor Strange in the multiverse. Understand this shit. When DC went at Marvel on television, they created Captain Marvel. Marvel sued them niggas, and then he changed his name to the thing he used to say, Shazam. So, Captain Marvel, because of its old controversy in Shazam, made it a girl. Then they do the movie with the girl. Real quick, DC had to answer that, trying to fight them back, and made this corny shit Shazam. Oh, y'all don't know comics, nigga? Made that corny shit Shazam. Not that Shaq movie, nigga. Yo, let me show you this shit. Drunk Sis. Shout out to Drunk Sis. Look what she got me. She found it, son. Sinbad's movie. Mandela Effect shit, son. DVD. I'm fucking with you. It's a guy, it's a genius who actually made this to sell. Because if you remember, like niggas going, what the fuck? What the fuck? I got you, niggas. Like this guy's a genius. Because of the Mandela Effect, he just bought a whole bunch of, I guess, old blockbusters. Because he actually has, Shazam on this, and Sinbad Shazam. His name is on here in the watermark. I can't see it in this light, but his name is on the watermark. And he's got the whole picture and the explanation on the back. But it's a novelty thing. Fucking genius. And because her and I bonded on, she knows Seinfeld is one of my things. This was a fake movie. Any of you Seinfeld fans that they were talking.
Hit that like button, subscribe, and tap that bell notification so you can be notified next time I drop some more heat.